Attention! This is not a test. This is not a test. This public announcement from North Carolina is being forwarded to you for your safety. Please take appropriate action to ensure your preparedness. Here we are on vacation once again. Ah, the South. Home of fried chicken, fried okra, fried steaks, fried vegetables, fried Twinkies, fried Oreo cookies, and fried pickles. Starting out on the Appalachian Trail, the way is marked by white rectangles painted on trees, rocks, and hikers who take too long to rest. Vicky celebrates having conquered a mild hill after a strenuous hike of a quarter mile. Here is the only covered bridge in South Carolina. This bridge was built prior to the discovery of right angles and true verticals. Therefore, it has none. The Vanderbilts invited us to drop by when we were in the neighborhood, so here we are enjoying the afternoon at their Biltmore estate, the largest privately owned home in the United States. Greenville, South Carolina is a pretty city with waterfalls right smack in town. I forgot to spit into it. Forgive me. A Southern gentleman takes the stringent sobriety test, mandatory for all men who wish to wear shorts and go barefooted in public. Charleston caught us by surprise. Those look like real horses, don't they? Each horse is actually two senior citizens in a very clever horse costume. I tried a fried peanut in the public marketplace. It is a peanut in the shell with added grease and salt. You eat the whole thing, shell and all. Tasted kind of like a mouthful of sawdust with splinters for roughage.
Great hand-carved ram's heads, or what they call Jupiter's heads, capitals, and all of the columns. 9,900 square feet. According to the city, in the 1856, they described it as the most ambitious private dwelling ever attempted. It's been vacant as long as I can personally remember. So, I believe that's how they word that good bones. What's on your left is due. Have to look up, you will see safety lights again.
Boarding a boat we understood was bound for the Canary Islands turned out to be only a cruise of the harbor. The captain understood our dismay and graciously returned one of our 3 suitcases to us. The Congaree National Forest caught our attention, but shockingly, it appeared we arrived just after a fire swept through. It was still smoldering. We found out at the Visitors Center it happened on purpose. I guess the groundskeepers were talking about the huge task of weed whacking hundreds of acres when one of the good old boys had a thought. "Hey, Joe Bob, what if we was to just set her on fire? If and we was to do that, we could take the rest of the day off." The legendary city of Savannah drew us like a magnet. After boarding a trolley tour, we encountered stately mansions and an actress guilty of a 412, overacting.
I'm recalled in Savannah's history as the first white female abolitionist. Yes. Now, although born in England and known on the stages of London as a consummate actress,
I've always wondered about that pirate phrase, Jolly Roger. I was led to believe it had something to do with the stereotypical skull and crossbones flag. Perhaps instead it might be all about this happy pirate.
Alright, come aboard. You are. Hello there. How are you? Well, welcome to the world famous Pirate's House. I shall be your host for just a moment. My name is Grinning Gus, and I am Savannah's only pirate dentist.
Every few blocks, our trolley driver would stop the vehicle, carry a closed paper bag onto the front porch of a house, light it with a match, and then ring the doorbell. He'd then run back to the trolley, drive away, and continue his narrative. He said that was an old Southern tradition that somehow benefited the Shoeshine Boys. High Point, North Carolina claims to be the furniture capital of the world. You see a modest little furniture store here of 1 million square feet. The large chest of drawers adorning the building entrance was originally the only nice piece of furniture Paul Bunyan ever owned. Mount Pilot was an early landmark for settlers moving west, back when Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, and such were the West. Do you remember the Andy Griffith Show? This is his hometown. No, you were thinking of Mayberry. That was just made up. There is no Mayberry. But Mount Airy has decided to pretend like it is. So they've got Floyd's Barbershop, the Snappy Cafe, and the regular pile of junky souvenirs. It's a living. Everyone warned us away from Myrtle Beach. We went anyway, sort of like touching the stove burner to see if it is hot. The main complaint is that it is tacky. It is, but they have the Atlantic Ocean right there at the edge of town, and once you get out of town a little bit, it is quite pretty. Vicky, the navigator, uncovered an old plantation to visit, not the stylish Gone with the Wind kind. This one started way earlier than that. The big house was actually quite modest. The massive barns were what impressed me. The slave quarters were pretty impressive also. Had roofs, floors, second stories, and real beds. The motel we stayed at in High Point was almost this nice. Stagville was more than just a one-crop deal. It was one of the biggest and lasted past the Emancipation Proclamation by converting to sharecropping. The guide explained that sharecropping was pretty much like slavery, but without the white folks making sure you got a meal every day. This has been another Vacations with Vicky and Paul production, presented for your awe and wonderment. When will the next Vacations with Vicky and Paul adventure be available? Well, whenever I can get out.